What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another post game here on Mets Central. And the Mets lose 8-5 to the Colorado Rockies. Before we jump into the recap, be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know I upload or go live. What an infuriating way to end the winning streak. This is a terrible loss. I'm just so aggravated by so many little things that I can nitpick in this loss, whether it's questionable decisions I had from, I think Mendoza made, whether it's just Jose Quintana being terrible and he cannot be in this rotation beyond the deadline, whether they're buying or selling, he needs to be off the roster. And again, it's just like, this game was so winnable, and that's what's so annoying. But you had Ezequiel Tovar and Talia turn into Barry Bonds against the Mets, and there was really nothing they could do. But again, a lot of it is Jose Quintana being just terrible. It is incredible how people defend this guy when he has outings like this consistently. And I don't want to hear about, oh, well, look at the 7 starts before this. I don't want to hear this when Francisco Alvarez is clearly what was boosting his stats, because I get that he was catching him again today, because I know people are going to say that, but this was all on Quintana, which I'll break down why and everything. Let's just talk about the game. And it started in the first inning. You have Charlie Blackmon get a single, then Ezequiel Tovar puts one over the fence to make it 2-0. And a first pitch changeup is what went over the wall there. Hangs it right down the deck. That's on nobody's fault but Quintana's. And then he gets the next 3 batters, gets 2 strikeouts there. Hooray, I guess. Bottom of the first, the Mets with just no competitive at-bats, because that's just the thing they do in the first inning lately. Top of the second, 1-2-3 inning for Quintana. Bottom of the second, Alonso strikes out. Vientos walks, a single for Iglesias, but he ends up being thrown out there at second, which sucked, and then Tyrone Taylor grounds out. Top of the third inning, Goodman grounds out. Blackmon strikes out. Tovar with a double, and then McMahon grounds out. Bottom of the third, 2 flyouts in a row, and then Lindor with a single. Nimmo hits into a force out. We go to the 4th inning. We're another 1-2-3 inning, and you're like, all right, Quintana, it sucks that he allowed 2 runs in the first inning, but at least he's settling down a bit. And he was also getting a good amount of strikeouts. Like, he started to figure things out with his changeup and locate it better. But again, like, we'll get to it, though, when we get there. But bottom of the 4th, Alvarez with a single. Alonso ends up hitting a home run to tie the game up at 2. And it was nice to see Pete Alonso get a power hit there. And it's just annoying because Vientos then flies out. Iglesias with a walk. Taylor with a single. McNeil with a walk. You have bases loaded with 1 out. And then Bader pops out. Lindor walks in a run. And then Nimmo hits into a force out, which Nimmo cooled off heavily. He has cooled off heavily within the past few games, and I'm not going to ridicule him for it because of the fact that he's been on fire, but it just is unfortunate timing, because right there you could have used a big-time hit from him. And then, like I said, Talia ends up hitting a home run, and that was on the sinker, which he put right in his wheelhouse. Then a force out, or then, I should say, Bouchard gets on with an error, then a force out from Goodman, then a challenge play there got overturned for a ground out from Blackmon. Ezequiel Tovar walks, and then McMahon strikes out. We go to the 5th inning, where the Mets go down in order once the Rockies go to their bullpen. And then in the 6th inning, they decide to trot out Quintana there, which I did not agree with the decision, because you're going into the All-Star break. Why not use your bullpen here when Quintana clearly didn't really have it that much? But again, I get that he settled down a bit, I guess you could say. But after that 5th inning, it's like, did you really want to go there? But regardless, the 6th inning comes around, and then he throws a 4-seam high, which ends up leaving the ballpark as Doyle ends up ripping that one. A strikeout then from Rogers, and then Bader with a unbelievable sliding catch, and then another home run, though. And this one was on the curveball. So for those of you that are keeping track at home here, you have, I actually want to get the exact thing here. So here you go, because I'm looking at it on Savant. So a home run allowed on the curveball. That was that one. A home run allowed by the fastball, the one prior. The one before that was a sinker. And then the one before that was a changeup. What are you gonna do? None of your 4 pitches are working. You can't locate it well. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Which I should say location was that big of an issue, because he only had 1 walk, but in the sense that he was just locating his pitches right down the plate versus trying to paint the corners, it was just completely aggravating. And then a strikeout from Bouchard, and then we go to the 6th inning where Iglesias gets a single and then 3 outs in a row because, of course, Adrian Houser then comes in the pitch, and I think that everyone took that as white flag has been waved. And then, yeah, it sure as hell was, because Goodman grounds out, Charlie Blackmon with a walk, Tovar with a home run to make it 7-3, McMahon with a single, then a strikeout, and then McMahon gets caught stealing. But yet again, this goes back to the conversation where this team has nobody really to use in the bullpen, but at the same time, why is it that Maton, because I forgot to mention Maton came in the previous inning, why did Maton just get 1 batter instead of rolling into the 7th inning using Maton? That didn't make sense to me. I know you wanted to get some innings out of Houser, but again, you're going into the All-Star break. Why did Maton not go back out there? And if Maton was only available for 1 batter because he's not good in up-down situations, then why is he in the game in the previous inning to get the last batter out? It just makes 0 sense, the thought process from Mendoza in that scenario. I just can't understand why Maton's not in that spot there, but that's a hand that we were dealt, and Houser just stinks up the joint, and you could look at that as one of the big reasons they lost this game. 7th inning, though, Lindor the single, Nimmo walks, and then wide drive-in runs when you could just have ugly at-bats as everybody else strikes out. Alvarez, Alonso, and Vientos, and that Alonso at-bat, yikes. And then you get to the 8th inning, 2 groundouts and then another home run for Talia, because, of course, just have a 3 home run game, 8-3, and then Bouchard strikes out. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and this annoyed me too. So Iglesias gets a single, Taylor walks, McNeil with a double to make it 8-4. Harrison Bader was 0-for-3 on the day and comes up. Why is it that, and I know that JD Martinez struck out later in the game, but who's to say things were different earlier on in the game against a different pitcher? Why is it that JD Martinez was not out of the dugout pinch hitting in this scenario when Harrison Bader was 0-for-3 on the day, and that strikeout was hideous. That strikeout was terrible. And you decide to roll with that over JD Martinez when you could have easily, after the inning, just put Ben Gamel into the game and have him play in the outfield for a couple more innings. And sure, his spot would have came up later in later in the game there. But again, it's just little things like that where why is JD Martinez not hitting there? Because I'd rather roll my chances to tie the game in that inning when you had 0 outs and you had 2 runs already come in, or no, 1 run come in, sorry. But you still have 2 on and no out. I am willing to risk my chances with JD Martinez there versus waiting and gambling for later in the game for a better opportunity to come up. Lindor, though, walks, and then Nimmo hits into a force out, 8-5, and then Alvarez lines out. That ends the inning. Would things have been different with JD there? I don't know. We'll never know. But I just didn't like the thought process there. And then Danny Young comes in, had a wild pitch, allowed a single to Blackmon, but was fine outside of that. Like, this was the best we've seen Danny Young in a while. And then the 9th inning, Alonso grounds out. Vientos and Iglesias get back-to-back singles. And then there was another opportunity for JD Martinez to come pinch hit for Tyrone Taylor, who really did not have a good day at the plate outside of the 1 hit. And right now, Tyrone Taylor has been so bad that I trust Jeff McNeil more. And for some reason, JD Martinez wasn't hitting there. And again, he ends up striking out, so would it have made a difference? I don't know, because we'll never know, because again, Jeff McNeil then would have been up next, and who knows what he would have done. But that ended the game. The Mets went 1-for-13 with runners in scoring position in this game. I just don't like the way a lot of things were managed throughout this game, if I'm being completely honest. And then On top of that, though, it's hard to completely just fault Mendoza when you had a lot of guys take ugly cuts. Like, Iglesias was the only guy that you could look at and say, you know what, they were like good throughout the entire game, and Lindor, of course. But outside of that, Nimmo didn't really give a lot of good at-bats. Alvarez, he had a hit, but he had 3 strikeouts. Alonso had the home run, but had 2 strikeouts. Vientos had a hit, but still 2 strikeouts. And then Tyrone Taylor, 2 ugly strikeouts, just again. And then Bader, of course, just 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Again, what those things have made the difference, I don't know, but it's just little things that you can look back on. And this is a team that you need to sweep. I'm sorry, and I don't want to be the douche to say it because people are going to be like, well, you still take a series win, which is true. But this was a team that you need to sweep. Like, this team is bad. I think it was Carson, friend of the show here, that tweeted it. He tweeted that the Rockies have a sub 400 slugging percentage and they play half of their games in a hitter-friendly park. This team you should be annihilating, and that just wasn't the case because Quintana was just not good. Maton, for some reason, only faced 1 batter. Houser just cannot be on this team post-deadline if they want to contend. And then Danny Young, I mean, he was fine. I can't say anything bad about Young, but I mean, Quintana and Houser just terrible. Just terrible from them today. But I don't really know if I have much else to add or say. I'm just annoyed. Now we roll into the All-Star break, so you guys won't be hearing from me for a little bit, of course. Nice voice crack there. A little bit from me, though. As when they come out of the break, they'll be playing the Marlins. Hopefully, things shift a little bit with the rotation because I'd like to see Alvarez catch a guy like Scott, like I mentioned in the previous video. Senga had a good rehab start, so maybe he comes back. I'm not sure what the status is there, but we'll see what happens. And that's another team where it's, again, hopefully you take advantage of it. But that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're a Met fan. Turn on your notifications so you know I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.